Hello everyone, welcome to the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am Finali Mondiali race. With the rain beginning to come down once again here at Mugello, you can see the umbrellas are up and yes, everyone is now contemplating a 30-minute plus one lap race with rain tyres for sure. And a start behind the safety car, I would think. Here is our formal welcome then to Mugello for the final race of our 2025 season. Now the championship season long finished yesterday, or actually the day before yesterday, but now it is the final winner-takes-all races, the Finali Mondiali races, which for Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers, the world champion titles up for grabs. Going from pole position for our Pirelli drivers, Vincenzo Scarpetta. Going from pole position for our Am drivers, David Gosner. And as you can see, there indeed is and are the umbrellas that are up, ready to keep the raindrops. Mr. Andrea Maladisic there with Mr. Antonello Coletta, Mr. Benedetto Vigna and Mr. Enrico Galliera. Senior management of Ferrari, who have put on a fantastic Finali Mondiali once again. And Andrea Maladisic is very much head of Corsa Pilota and Ferrari Challenge. Benedetto Vigna, of course, Ferrari Chief Executive Officer. He's there to the right of Andrea Maladisic, so second one from the left, if you like. And then Antonello Coletta there as well. Brolly's up then. And here is Felix Herziger, who is a champion in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli for Europe, and he goes from P2 on the grid in the world final race. Inico Rapato Corsa Ram driver Felix Herziger is going from P2 for this world final race. Now, start confirmed from race control will be behind the safety car, and furthermore, the race control are mandating that all cars must have rain tyres fitted, so you've got to start the race on wet weather tyres. Kind of no reason why you wouldn't actually, because the rain is continuing to come down as we go inside the car of Dylan Medler, who drives not only in North America but also in Europe as well, and has been a fine addition to the European campaign. As we take a look at more cars down there on the grid, including Vincenzo Scarpetta, who is going from pole position. There is Thomas Gosner, who is down there on the grid with Corinna Gosner as well. A mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers. Now, how are you going to identify between the two? Pirelli drivers have the red strip across the top of the windscreen. The Am drivers have a white strip across the top of the windscreen. That's how you can tell who they are. 34 cars on the grid. It's going to be harum scarum, I would think, for 30 minutes plus one lap. And, well, to get to where the drivers got to in terms of where they are on the grid, of course, we had a qualifying session which was also in changeable weather conditions. And let's take a look at what happened in qualifying for our Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers just yesterday. So as you see, the sun was shining as Michael Verhagen left the pit lane to go out for qualifying. Henri Assid then driving that 67 car for the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli drivers, mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers qualifying out there. Yasin Ferrati, driver that chased Felix Herziger to the championship throughout the season we ride on board with right now, and you can see parts of the track beginning to dry up nicely. And Felix Herziger, well, you can see the back end of the car stepping out a little bit there, but he controlled it really rather nicely, and he continued his quest to qualify as best as he possibly could. You can still see lots of damp patches on the track, and in fairness, it was difficult for a lot of the drivers, including Michael Verhagen, who didn't qualify quite where he would have liked to. And Vincenzo Scarpetta driving the number 90 car for Radici Automobili. Well, he was having a reasonable time of it. Herbert Guys had to pile on the opposite lock, and the braking power of the 296 Challenge car he was certainly pleased of. And Björn Grossman, who would just dearly love to take a Finali Mondiali title. It's a title that he has never won, but his qualifying was a real struggle, and he qualified P7 in class, but down there P10 overall. Michael Verhagen, we can see there. This was the man that was doing it all, though, in qualifying in terms of having pace, having track space, and being able to manipulate the track to his own advantage. Vincenzo Scarpetta, he put it on pole position for our Pirelli drivers, and for our Pirelli AM drivers, it was David Gostner driving the number 50 Pirelli AM car that would put it on pole position for those Pirelli AM class. So the grid is being cleared right now of all non-essential personnel, ready for the start of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM Finali Mondiali race. We're live from Mugello, and we do, of course, have the big Ferrari show to come as well. You're looking at the 255 car there, which is driven by Roberto Perina, who's qualified really well. He goes from P3. And Roberto Perina is one of our North American drivers, and our drivers here from North America, closing out their season for 2025 here in Europe. The number 33 car is driven by Michael Verhagen for Ferrari of Warsaw. He qualified P2 for our Trofeo Pirelli AM cars with a time of 2:05. So Michael Verhagen inside the cockpit of his 296 Challenge car, going from P2. All the cars are muddled up on the grid, so it's a mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM. Wherever you qualified within your particular group, it's academic. You all line up on the grid, having taken the overall position. So we have two Pirelli cars before a Pirelli AM, before another Pirelli AM, etc., etc. All cars then mandated from race control to have rain tyres fitted. It is definitely a wet race, there's no question about that, and the start is going to be behind the safety car. Now, as I mentioned, all the championships have been won, and the presentation of the awards for the championships took place at a glittering gala dinner last night, of which I was very proud to be part of the presentation team. It was a spectacular evening. It was a remarkable night and a real privilege to be a part of it. The awards ceremony. Here is the Mugello circuit then that these drivers are going to have to contend with. 5.245 kilometers and very, very undulating, a real technical circuit, and 15 turns or 14 turns depending on how you count them. Going to really, really test our drivers in particularly rotten conditions that greet for our Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM Finali Mondiali. So the cars will be taken away by the safety car in exactly 6 seconds from now. Make that 3, 2, 1, and right now the Richard Mills safety car will lead these cars away correctly on cue. And the start is single file behind the safety car, so it will be Vincenzo Scarpetta from Felix Herziger. Then David Gostner, Roberto Perina, Michael Verhagen, Gilles Renman. Bear in mind, of course, that the race has started. The clock is ticking down. However, no overtaking quite clearly because we are behind the safety car. So I suspect the safety car will stay out for a couple of laps. Right, here's the grid. David Akapatsi and Armin Arifpour on the 17th row. On the 16th row, it's Esteban Beckman and Otto Blank. Then we find Jay Logan and Pranav Van Gala going from P30 and P29 as we hear the safety car is staying out for 2 laps. Gianmarco Martialetti and Sebastian Mascaro, P28 and P27. Gerdas Venslovas and Hanno Laskovski are on the 13th row of the grid. Then it's Max Mugello and Herbert Guys on the 12th row, a mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers together there. Nobuhiro Imada and James Owen, both Pirelli Am drivers there on the 11th row of the grid. And it's Johnny Kaminsky, a fine young racer, going from P20 with Marco Zanassi alongside. Gilbert Yates and Danilo Del Favro occupy row 9, that's 18 and 17 on the grid. Dylan Medler and Brad Falver, 16 and 15, that's row 8. Row 7 contains Hendrik Viola, our Trofeo Pirelli Am champion in Europe, and Massimo Perina, Trofeo Pirelli champion from the States. Yasin Ferrati and Rafael Duran on the next row, with Björn Grossman and Luigi Coluccio going from P8 and P9. From P8 and P7 it's Henri Acide. And then on to the 3rd row of the grid, Gilles Remans and Michael Verhagen to the 2nd row with Roberto Perina and David Gosner. And then on the front row of the grid is Felix Herziger and Vincenzo Scarpetta going from pole position. So let's hear from the Radici Automobili driver Vincenzo Scarpetta then, pole position.
Qualifying for the track condition, rain, sun, but it was very funny for me. I will fight for the first place in the race. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure, Vincenzo. We wish you the best of luck. And my goodness me, look at the water there is on the track now. Visibility going to be oh so difficult for our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers. And there's 34 cars out there on track. This is going to be really, really tricky, I would suggest. Alongside me is Nico Spalak. Hello, good morning. And just when we wanted the rain not to fall, it came down.
Yeah, absolutely. The only advantage, if there is any, is that it's now and not in the middle of a race and catching out the drivers by surprise. Now everybody behind the safety car. But we've seen before, even under the safety car, even at these moderate pace, it is difficult to keep the car on track. And
you could see there, Felix Herziger, just weaving from side to side. He lost the back end of the car damn near. So you're right. Even at this reduced pace, you're not at race pace, to hold on to the car is a work of some skill.
100%. So certainly safety car, I assume, will stay out there for a little bit. The weather has been very changeable, and from downpours to sun, back to rain, we have seen everything and happening in very short order. So, in 5 minutes, it might be sunny again. It's never going to get dry, make no mistake about that, but maybe it'll just get a little bit more predictable than it is right now.
Yes, as we understand it, safety car staying out for another lap, and Antonio Tamburini driving the safety car, and not easy to drive any car in these conditions. Of course, we have got the big Ferrari show to come a little bit later here at the Finali Mondiali event, but for now we are concentrating, of course, on our Trofeo Pirelli Finali Mondiali. When the safety car does peel off into the pit lane, it will be the responsibility of Vincenzo Scarpetta and Felix Herziger to control the pace of the restart, or actual pace of race start. I mean, the race has started because the clock is ticking down with Vincenzo Scarpetta in that P1 position. So, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers. The Pirelli drivers with the red strip across the top of the windscreen. Pirelli Am drivers with the white strip across the top of the windscreen. And that's the order on the left-hand side of your screen. Vincenzo Scarpetta leading for Pirelli. David Gosner leading for Pirelli Am. The 1, 2, 3, if you want, is Scarpetta, Herziger and Perina for our Pirelli drivers. For our Am drivers, it's Gosner. Then it's Michael Verhagen. Then it is Andrew Morrow, who's had a stellar weekend this weekend in Finali Mondiali.
Indeed, great driving, great pace, obviously under the safety car, and with every second ticking away, it is getting more and more difficult for those who would love to make up ground to do exactly that. Add the visibility and the difficulty of seeing anything, and we just got a message here into our studio from a good friend Axel Sartingen, a former champion in the Ferrari Challenge, saying anybody from P3 is effectively running blind, and he knows what he's talking about. Thanks, Axel, for checking in with us. It would be great to see you again here on the track next year. Dylan Medland, you can appreciate it even at that speed. Talking about seeing, doesn't see a whole lot.
Yes, visibility virtually zero. Very difficult for our drivers. So 24 minutes plus 1 lap. The duration then at the moment, we are of course behind the Richard Mills safety car, and I would suggest if the safety car does peel off this lap, we're going to be left with about 22 minutes of racing time remaining plus the 1 lap. It's just a guesstimate on my part, but considering the pace of the Richard Mills safety car, perhaps a bit more than 22 minutes, but not a lot. So let's see how we do then, and you can see from that camera angle that it is really, really difficult to see anything. And yeah, you are driving virtually blind. Felix Herziger we're on board with right now. We think the safety car is going to come in right now, and it will be the responsibility of Vincenzo Scarpetta ahead of Felix Herziger. No, the safety car is staying out, and that's a wise decision from race control. They're keeping the safety car out there because the visibility is bad, the conditions are bad. Delighted to say that alongside us is Niklas Nielsen, top geezer, top driver, all-round good chap. Niklas, how on earth do you drive a racing car in these conditions? It's so hard.
Yeah, it is very hard, Dave. Very nice to join you again. Happy to be back. Yeah, like we just saw in the onboard from the car that was on the TV that it's very difficult to see, especially when you're not leading. Of course, the leader is behind the safety car now, so he will have some kind of spray, but he will probably be the first one to go on the radio and say, guys, it's okay to race.
Yeah, of course.
But the guys behind obviously is in a completely different situation. So we'll see. It's raining a lot, so I'm not sure we will have a race soon, but we will see. Hopefully it will change.
Max Mugello has brought his car into the pit lane. I can assure you of this. I don't know much about motor racing, but slick tyres are not going on that car. I can tell you, I think I might be right with that. So Roberto Perina there you can see. Now you'll see drivers kind of ducking in and out of different lines here. Now that's not to gain any advantage because they are behind the safety car. That's not to gain any advantage. It's actually to gain visibility, because if you can pull out of the spray, you can at least see where you're going, as Thomas Gosner is on the pit wall there looking on, and they're looking at the weather radar. And Niklas Nielsen, we're getting a red flag here, and I'm kind of not surprised by that.
It was
just
kind of
too
expected.
It's too tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, we can race in the rain, but obviously visibility and standing water is always a problem, especially here in Mugello. There is a few places on the main straight as well where you have standing water, and it's not where you want to lose the car. And of course, race control, they have to make a call that is safe for everyone, and I think right now that is the right call.
34 cars is a big grid of cars, isn't it? And you know, we talk about this Mugello circuit, and you and I have I've had the privilege of having you alongside me on the air on a number of occasions, Nicholas, and it's always been a pleasure. But you bring so much to the broadcast because, of course, you know what you're talking about. I can only guess what drivers are going through. But when you've got quite a circuit like this one, which is quite technical, you've got lots and lots of turns and lots of elevation changes. That must make it even more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like I said, there is a lot of places here where you have these kind of puddles or rivers running across the track. And as far as I remember, the line that you take here in the wet is a bit like what I'm used to in karting. So the outside line is where the grip is. But it makes it a bit tricky as well, because braking points, obviously, if there is a bit of standing water, you know you need to go for the outside. And I think we saw the other days as well that a lot of people, they actually miss the braking, and then they go into the gravel, especially in turn one.
Yes.
And I think it is because of these small puddles that upsets the braking, you know.
The other thing that I've learned is, and from people like yourself, is that, of course, the normal racing line is the line where all the rubber is. But actually in the wet, because of the oil in the rubber that's laying on the track, all of a sudden those normal lines become more ice-like.
Yeah, it is like ice, but it kind of also depends on the track and when has a circuit been resurfaced. Because, for example, when we were in Austin with the WEC, it was actually more or less a dry line that we were we were taking in similar conditions to what we're seeing now. So it really depends on the asphalt as well. But yeah, obviously we always try to avoid the places, or actually the dry line, like you said, where the rubber is, because that's usually where we have zero grip.
So as the cars are brought back into the pit lane, let's talk about Niclas Nielsen, the racing driver who I first met 100 years ago when he was in junior single-seaters. Look at you now, a Le Mans winner, a driver of the Ferrari hypercar, a super professional racing driver at the very, very top of your career. It's been a wonderful journey, Mr. Nielsen.
Absolutely. And I mean, now we are basically back where it all started for me.
Yes.
With the Ferrari Challenge in 2017, and yeah, like you said, it's been a journey. But to be honest, looking back, it feels like 2017 was yesterday.
Yeah, I understand.
It's crazy.
I remember when the announcement came in that you were going to be joining the Ferrari Challenge. I thought, I know this boy. He's going to be a winner, and you were straight away. Right, Finali Mondiali here in Mugello. However, of course, on Saturday night, last night, it was all about where is Finali Mondiali going to be in the next year. November the 17th to the 23rd. Finali Mondiali 2026, the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, where we might stand a chance of some sunshine, perhaps. I mean, I have to say, we've been very, very unlucky the last 2 years in Finali Mondiali, because the rain at Imola last year was biblical, and it's fair coming down now, I have to say, for this Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am Finali Mondiali race. There you go, big Ferrari show to come as well, which it's hardly ideal conditions for that either. Finali Mondiali is an event. I can't tell you. It's, of course, the final of the Ferrari Challenge races, both in Europe and also in North America. But it's so much more than that. The paddock becomes a Ferrari village. We have showrooms, we have displays, we have clothing, we have a massive exhibition area with so many racing cars. It's just awesome. And of course the XX programs, the F1 Clienti, the Sport Prototipi cars. You know, there is so much going on that it's an absolute must if motor racing is your thing. Finali Mondiali, truthfully, I can't really describe it. You have to come and be part of it, honestly, and I would urge you to do that. If you can join us in Spain next year, then Barcelona. Okay, so we're delighted to have Niclas Nielsen alongside us. Of course, he is part of the party, if you like, that has won Le Mans in that wonderful hypercar for 3 years in a row. Absolutely remarkable achievement from our hypercar drivers and engineers. Let's celebrate the success of Ferrari at Le Mans. Well, that was something very, very special. 3 years of success at Le Mans with Ferrari, and I've known Niklas Nielsen for a lot of years, and I have to say, and I still remain, I mean, you know, last year was the year of Phil and Robert and Ife as they took victory in that car, but of course the year before, Niklas, you were the driver that was going to take the checkered flag. You were under enormous pressure, thinking of fuel, thinking of things like that. You were such a, you know, it was like you got a head on your shoulders of 50 years. You were so wise, and you were just, until you'd crossed that line, you were just so self-assured. Okay, the emotions came out when you crossed the line, you took the checkered flag. How the heck did you be so mature and so good?
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer, Dave. But, you know, I think it also came down to that we were really close in 23.
Yeah.
Then obviously the sister car won. And then we started out very well in 24 as well during the race, and we took the lead from the beginning, and that already kind of settled the race a bit for us, you know.
Yeah.
So when I had to jump into the car in the end, while we were leading and the door didn't close, I was not really, I mean, I was furious, but I was trying to just focus on my job and what I had to do, because obviously there was not anything I could change, you know.
No.
So the only information I needed from the team was basically how much fuel do I need to save, what do I need to do for us to maybe being able to make it to the finish. But then I have to say we needed to be lucky as well with the weather, because if it stopped to rain, obviously the lap times would have been faster, and meaning that we would use more energy as well.
Yeah.
So everything kind of went in our direction, you know, and yeah, I mean, I'm a bit proud when I see the the videos after of how calm I managed to be. But I think, you know, like when you realize that this is probably, you never know if it's the only opportunity you get, but like the opportunity was there, and there was no way I was going to bring that car back to the garage on P2, you know. I didn't want to have that one hanging on me with Antonello and the other guys being in the garage, you know. So and especially for Miguel and Antonio as well, who did a great job during the race. So yeah, I know it was a very pressurized moment, but at the same time, I mean, it's what they pay us to do, you know. So I'm happy that at least that day that I was worth my money, you know.
Oh, for sure, it was just amazing, because it was literally, as I watched from the garage, and I have to say, we all share in the emotion, and you know, tears welling up for us as well. But you were absolutely, until you had broken the beam and the checkered flag had come down, and then it was like this explosion of emotion. I remember both of your hands going to your eyes.
Straight away.
It was wonderful, and I have to say, it felt like all of us were sharing your emotions.
And then I had a 13-kilometer in-lap where everything kind of settled down.
Yeah, of course.
And then once I saw Miguel and Antonio, I started to cry again because they were crying, you know.
Of course.
So it was a never-ending crying competition that night.
And what that does, whether you're racing in Le Mans Hypercar, whether you're racing in Ferrari Challenge, you know what it does. It really reinforces the fact that this wonderful sport can be really beautiful.
Yeah.
But of course, Niklas, you've seen the other side of it can be brutal as well.
Yeah, it can. I mean, it goes both ways.
Yep.
But you know what? I think what I've learned over the years is that also you learn a lot from let's say, the bad days, and that's also what gives the victories even a much better taste as well.
Sure. Thank you, Niklas, for being with us and being so honest with your thoughts. We're always grateful for that, and I think, you know, somehow, somewhere, you and I have a special bond because we've known each other for so many years, and we've seen your career develop, and for you to develop as if I'm honest with you, as a young man, as a professional racing driver, you know, it's been a joy to behold. The clock was stopped at just after 22 minutes plus one lap. We have no more information for race control at the moment. The only thing I can say anecdotally is the rain is still coming down, but it's not as intense as it was. I know we're on a very, very tight timetable here at Mugello because we have this massive Ferrari show, and I mean massive Ferrari show to come. So I kind of don't know how that's impacting things, but the thing that is always going to be of paramount importance and will take priority over anything is the safety of our drivers, of course. So race control will be judging all of those things, and they'll be taking a look at the prediction for the weather over the next minutes, deciding what to do. So as soon as we have any information, we will bring that to you, of course, in terms of information coming out of race control. I might get really told off over this now, but I'm just going to say to Niklas, I want to say to you on air, congratulations, as your life has taken another turn, hasn't it? And you know, you're very much a family man now, and I'm thrilled for you, absolutely thrilled.
Thank you.
I won't repeat what you told me when I knew you were expecting, not you, but your wife, you were expecting, your partner was expecting your first child, because that was really funny. And
I think we will save that one for later.
That's not for broadcast. But yeah, many congratulations.
Thank
Fred.
you very much.
Being the father of two who are now adults, you know, I know what a difference that makes to your life, and yeah, it's wonderful. So I'm thrilled for you both. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, here we are. This is as a racing driver, this is a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? What do you do in the car? What are you thinking, Niklas?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously you want to get going. I mean, but there's not much we can do, you know. So it's. This is what we talked about before as well. There's good parts and bad parts about racing. This is definitely one of the worst parts, you know.
Talking of racing drivers, I know someone that you've worked with and you know, advised, who I saw in the paddock yesterday. A couple of friends of yours, Johnny Lawson, who's a great driver, and of course very much involved in Formula Racing in Denmark, which is you know, very close to your heart, I know. And then I saw Johnny's son, Conrad. Conrad's a great racer as well, and I remember Conrad racing in karts, and he was also here. And Conrad, he must be 8 foot tall now, Niklas.
Yeah, he's not a small kid anymore, is he?
You're right. You're absolutely right. He's not. Great to see those. Johnny Lawson and Conrad Lawson here. So, fans here enjoying the Finali Mondiali event, and glad that you are here. Sorry for the weather conditions. Nothing we can do about that. We've got drivers out of the cars. Of course, some drivers need to take a comfort break. That can apply to broadcasters as well, I can tell you. As I sit here. So the Richard Mills safety car and drivers are out. That looks like it's it, I'm afraid to say. Finali Mondiali 2025 has been somewhat impacted by the weather conditions, and we are in a red flag situation here for our Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM Finali Mondiali race. The race is going to resume at 12:35, which is what race control is telling us, which is 4 minutes and 10 seconds from now. 4 minutes and 10 seconds from now. We will get our Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM race back on in very challenging conditions. I'm sure that it will start behind the safety car of that, there is no doubt. And there we are with the 296 challenge cars to the left of our screen. We can see Vincenzo Scarpetta leading the race ahead of Felix Herziger. David Gostner leading for the Pirelli AM drivers. This is Felix Herziger. You can see inside the 296 challenge car. For racing drivers, of course, it's frustrating because they have had to sit in the car and focus and concentrate on trying to keep themselves in the zone before going back to racing, kind of waiting for the information to come from race control as to when that is likely to happen. I can tell you from our broadcast perspective as well, it's race control ultimately are the ones that will make the decision, because of course the driver's safety is of paramount importance, and the conditions are certainly much better now than they were even just a few moments ago. This is Dylan Medler that we're looking at now, who's one of our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli drivers here, and you can see in 3 minutes time the race will resume. 3 minutes from now the race will resume, and it will go its full duration to the best of our knowledge. The clock has not changed. It's still going to be 21 minutes and 50 seconds plus 1 lap, having had 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Although I'm now seeing that the start is being delayed on our information screens. So obviously it's a moving picture all the time, and alongside me, Nico here, I know you're frantically working and trying to understand our machinations of where we're at, but yes, at the moment it says start delayed rather than us getting away when we thought we were going to at 35.
Yes, good afternoon again. It is a challenging situation for everybody, and it's great to see all the fans on the stands keeping positive vibes among them, which you have to admire them, sitting there even underneath the roof. They would like to see this race get underway and see a real race action, but as we have said, and as you've said so correctly, race control is first and foremost responsible for the safety for everybody involved, and that's the drivers, that's the marshals, everybody else involved in this event. They need to be safe, and that's their priority. Start delayed, probably the right call. Oh, certainly the right call. It's still raining, you said. It's a little bit lighter and brighter up in the sky. It hasn't materialized, it hasn't translated to the rain stopping, but hopefully we will get that changed. For the moment, everybody is still on standby, and we're expecting news and updates from race control to come in due course. For the moment, start delayed is the state of the game. Look here into our broadcast center, the TV broadcast crew who will bring you all these great images from the Ferrari Challenge all season long. Fairly static images for the time being, not their fault, and they've already given us some great shots in terms of highlights and previews of what we saw over the course of this week, and obviously the Ferrari World Finals location in 2026, which will be Barcelona a full month later than this year.
So it'll snow.
Well, it's not the Nürburgring, so I think I'm positive about that. It's only going to be 3 weeks ahead of the start of the new Ferrari Challenge Middle Eastern Series, which will kick off in the winter 26-2027. And I say winter because it kind of is, but it's not going to be wintry conditions by any means. We'll be in Bahrain, Qatar, Jeddah, as well as the finals in Abu Dhabi, which will then already be 2027, which sounds dramatically long away, but it'll come much quicker.
And you know what? In the Middle East, it's often been the case, hasn't it, with racing, that it vaults 2 years. Yes, because actually, as I'm sure you're more than well aware, summer in the Middle East can be jolly hot, and therefore it fits so nicely into the likes of us Europeans. To be in the Middle East in that period of time is just absolutely perfect. This is Yasin Ferrati that we're looking at right now. Still no further information to bring you with regards to the race start, which was supposed to have been around about 50 seconds ago, but hasn't happened. You can see the threatening dark cloud ahead and the raindrops still coming down pretty hard. So the proposed start has been delayed once again, and for everyone in the grandstands, that's kind of not the information you want to be hearing. But I would say that, the rain is still coming down, but it's not intense now. But what there is around the track, there's a lot of standing water because the precipitation was pretty ferocious for a time, and that will be ever uppermost in the minds of our wonderful team in race control, who consider lots and lots of things. We've also got to consider that we have the big Ferrari show to come here at Finali Mondiali. So all of those things are in consideration at the moment and being considered. Right, we're now being told the race will resume at 12:55. That's 12:55, which is round about just under 20 minutes away from now. And hello to everyone in there in the grandstands as well. So race going to be resumed at 12:55. We are given to understand. There is confirmation of that on the screen for you. Local time right now is 12:37, so it's going to be until 12:55 before we can go racing again. We're looking at the Andrew Morrow car, the number 4 Trofeo Pirelli AM car there. Andrew Morrow driving for the PRM organisation, and also the Charles Hurst Ferrari dealer in Northern Ireland. Andrew Morrow's had some success this Finali Mondiali. 2 wins. Well done, Andrew. He's a former Trofeo Pirelli UK champion, and in fairness, Andrew Morrow, just go back 5 years, had never set foot in a racing car. Came and raced in the Ferrari Challenge in the UK, and in the second year of so doing became champion, and from there on in has raced here in Europe, and very, very competitively as well. By dint of those 2 victories this weekend really reinforced that. So Andrew Morrow then certainly won at the start of the season this year as well. If my memory, which is challenged at the best of times, is correct, I think he took the opening Trofeo Pirelli AM race win in Monza. So we are being told that the race will resume at 12:55, and it will go the full distance of the time that remains on the clock right now, which is 21 minutes and 50 seconds plus 1 lap. So that's what we're being told. That's the latest information, but as I say, it is a moving picture because of the weather conditions that we're experiencing here. Looking back from the Richard Mills safety car right now at the grid or lineup of cars, if you will, lined up down the pit lane. So here you can see discussions going on. It's Max Mugelli and Tina is alongside there. Tina is the one wearing the beanie hat, if you will, and the headphones, and giving us the thumbs up. And Max Mugelli, the driver, dodgy, I think. He doesn't speak a lot of English, but what English he does speak is certainly through sign language there, indicative of what it looks like at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, gives us a moment to reflect upon what 2026 will be. We will have racing from February all the way to, well, throughout the year. There's not going to be a single month from February that will not feature at least one Ferrari Challenge event, starting in Bathurst in Australasia, and then obviously going through the year with all the regions, Europe, Japan, the UK, North America, and then we will have the World Finals in November, and then, as we said, then we continue with the Middle East through December and January. So where the Ferrari Challenge, when we started quite a few years ago, and let's not mention how many years ago that has been, it was a great championship, but it didn't span the globe nearly as much as it does today. And it's not only in terms of the drivers hailing from all over the world, but it's now the championships and the competitions going effectively everywhere.
Yes, it's a single make series which is in demand all around the world. And as Nico, my colleague here, indicates, with the addition of the Ferrari Middle East region having its own Ferrari challenge, adding to Europe, the UK, North America, Australasia and Japan. So we're around about 15 minutes away from the race resuming. And Vincenzo Scarpetta is sort of indicating that maybe a boat would be in order, rowing with the oars, as indeed he was there. None of us, of course, can control the weather conditions, but the weather conditions are such that Vincenzo Scarpetta, our race leader at the moment, is because he is the race leader. He's leading the race, even though we are stuck. Yeah, that's what he thinks. That's the way it is. Out of the car is Roberto Perina, just doing some stretching. He's one of our North America competitors. We have quite some number of competitors from all around the world, as you would expect at this Finali Mondiali event. So, sorry for this. Nothing we can do about it. It's the weather is the weather, and yeah, we would really like to be racing if we could, but the rain is still coming down, and it is the safety of our drivers which is paramount importance. And at the moment, the latest indication is that the race will be resumed at 12:55. I have to say that doesn't say race will be resumed at 12:55 TBC, which generally, if there's any doubt in that, there is a TBC. Now again, reinforcing the fact it's a moving picture, one assumes that there is every confidence that that will happen. The sky is bright now, but the rain intensity is just as much as it's been over the last few minutes, I would have said. So I'm not absolutely sure. Perhaps my colleague Nico will take a look at the weather for me.
Well, just had a look at the weather forecast and the radar. It's certainly the problem that we have is like the rain clouds above are long and extended. They're not very wide, but unfortunately the Mugello circuit right now is right in the middle. So 10 kilometers to the north and 10 kilometers to the south. I'm not going to say it's going to be sunny, but certainly there is not going to be the rainfall that we're experiencing here. But luck has it that today we are being treated to a nice day in the wet. And unfortunately, that means we have to delay our racing, but it's really, really great. And I have said it before, but just reinforcing that the fans on the grandstands, they're still having a good time and making sure that they keep the spirits up, and we're very grateful for that. We do the same, and I hope so do you. Some slick tires. Don't think they will be in any use today, but kept on standby just in case. So we have about 11 minutes until the scheduled restart. And that gives us an opportunity to maybe have a look at some of the things that have happened on the track while we're stationary. And yesterday, obviously, we set the grid for this race with the competitors from all our regions in a dedicated qualifying session for the World Finals. Here it is. It was Michael Verhagen who came out of pit lane first, and it was the 34-car strong contingent of Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers who took to the track. Henri Acid, yes, last year's Shell champion, one of them. He was been elevated not only to Pirelli AM but to Pirelli. There is Yasin Ferrati. And as you can see, it wasn't a entirely dry qualifying, but it certainly offered better conditions than we have currently. Everybody's still on wets yesterday. It was difficult, and it led to one or two drivers missing their braking points, getting off the track. Vincenzo Scarpetta, he was one who has quite a lot of track experience here in Mugello, and he put that to really, really good use. Yeah, but guys, another one.
That just reinforced how difficult it was. Herbert Guys going around. We saw just a few moments ago where our Trofeo Pirelli champion Felix Herziger losing the back end of the car. He controlled it, and Björn Grossman, who certainly knows how to drive this Mugello circuit, also won really having to fight the car. So too Michael Verhagen, the driver of the number 33 car, who eventually would qualify P2 in class, but it was going to be Vincenzo Scarpetta that would be fastest overall, and he would take that P1 position. Checker flag falling on Vincenzo Scarpetta. He was the best of the Pirelli drivers. The best of the Pirelli AM drivers was going to be the driver of the number 50 car for CDP MP Racing, and that was David Gosner. Great job done by Andrew Morrow as well, P3 in Pirelli AM. So we're back with the live pictures, and we have local time now 12:46 and a half, and still the race is being predicted to resume at 12:55.
Yeah, and actually, looking out the window, it's still raining a little bit, but it has let up more and more, and it's getting brighter and brighter. So I think the weather forecast that Race Control has is not a bad one, as we take a look at Andrew Morrow getting ready again. I think that's another part. The physical part, being there when the race starts, is one thing. That's fairly easy. The mental part, the focus that the drivers have for a race start, and we're now, it feels like 2 hours away. It's an hour and 10 from the original race start. To keep that focus up, or when you relax, to build it back up, that's I'm sure, one of the most difficult things for a racing driver, because when that light goes green, or rather the safety car disappears, you have to be 100%.
Of course, and you're right, being able to maintain that. We just saw Felix Herziger's team inside the car actually wiping his shoes for him. Perhaps he's been out for a comfort break, and of course your shoes become wet, and you need all the grip on the pedals as well as from the tyres on the track also. And there you can see it exactly the same being done for Andrew Morrow as he jumps into his RPM Motorsport 296 Challenge car. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for the drivers. It's frustrating for you. We understand that, but of course, of paramount importance is the safety of everyone, and that's why the race will only be resumed when Race Control consider it safe to do so, which at the moment we're being predicted is 7 minutes from now. Daniel Mancinelli up there on just outside Casa Ferrari looking on, and that's a great place to act as a spotter because from that vantage point you can see an awful lot of the Mugello circuit here in Tuscany. We're on board the Richard Mille safety car now, looking back at the car of Vincenzo Scarpetta, who is going from P1. So still confirmation on screen that the race is going to be resumed at 12:55, which, as I say, is well, now is going to be 6 minutes from where we are. So hopefully 6 minutes time we'll go back to racing, and we will have 21 and 50 seconds plus 1 lap of racing time for our 20 or 33 cars that are still out there. Vincenzo Scarpetta, Felix Herziger, David Gosner, Roberto Perino, Michael Verhagen, Gilles Redmonds, Andrew Morrow, Henri Assi, Luigi Coluccio, Björn Grossman, Rafael Duran, Yasin Ferrati, Massimo Perena, Hendrik Viol, Brad Falver, Dylan Medler, Danilo Del Favero, Gilbert Yates, Marco Zanazzi, Johnny Kaminsky, James Owen, Nobuhiro Amado, Herbert Guys, Hanno Laskowski, Gerda Svenslovas, Sebastian Mascaro, Gianmarco Marzioletti, Pranav Vangala, Jay Logan, Otto Blank, Esteban Beckman, Armin Arifpour, David Akabadze, Max Mugelli. There you go. Every name mentioned of all our drivers across the Pirelli and Pirelli AM categories. Local time now is 10 to 1, which means we're 5 minutes away. 5 minutes away Now, interviews from our glitterati that have won this season, including Trofeo Pirelli Am, Hendrik Viol.
Well, it feels like always amazing, the Grande Finale, to have it here in Italy, Mugello. It's amazing to see what Ferrari puts on display here, you know, with our challenge cars, Formula One cars, the XX cars. Amazing atmosphere, big setup of everything, fans. So to describe Finali Mondiali with one word, I would say it's overwhelming. It's a great highlight and a great end to a great season for me. The season it had a little bit of a difficult start for me. The second half was even stronger with the 2 wins in Barcelona, the win at my home race in Brno. It was a dream to make it, you know, possible, especially for my team, you know, family, friends that were there, to give them the home win, which worked out, and then to seal it with the championship win. So super happy, and it's amazing, great feeling. With the win, I have to compete in the Pirelli Pros next year, which makes it even more tougher, of course, but I think I'm gonna take the challenge, and you will see me, at least for a few races for sure, next year.
Hendrik Viol is a very worthy Trofeo Pirelli Am champion, very nearly Trofeo Pirelli Am champion last year, but was usurped at the end, and it is his year this year, and richly deserved. And as he said in that feature, he of course will be racing with the Pirelli cars next year. He's promoted by dint of winning the championship, and we're very much looking forward to welcoming Hendrik Viol back and the Scuderia Prague team, who engineer such success, and having done so for Hendrik Viol and Alexei Komarov and Ruslan Sadriv, and so many drivers over the years have come through the Scuderia Prague team. Okay, now this is encouraging as the Max Mugello car is lit up and started. According to the information we have, we are around about 2 minutes away from the race resuming. 2 minutes away. No one has told us anything different to that. You can see the 2-minute board being shown at the end of the pit lane, which clearly the car's going to go out behind the safety car. And yeah, 21 minutes, well, 22 minutes as near as makes no difference, plus 1 lap of racing still to come for our Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers. Our Trofeo Pirelli champion, Felix Herziger, we're on board with him now, looking at the driver and the focus there. He's ready to go out racing, and then our drone tracks all the way down the pit lane. The pit lane absolutely full of 296 challenge cars here, ready to contest this world final race for Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. All the championship is done and dusted. It is just now the Finali Mondiali races to conclude and complete the 2025 season. Threatening dark cloud overhead, great. And the Richard Mills safety car ready to lead the cars away, and we are 40 seconds away from getting a green light at the end of the pit lane. Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to a rainy Mugello, and welcome to the Finali Mondiali race from Ferrari Challenge for our Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers. Just 30 seconds now. Stand by. We're going to be out behind the safety car. We'll see how long the safety car stays out there for our 34 drivers. The mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am cars are going to be released from the pit lane in 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds from now. Race is back on behind the safety car. So green flag is flying at the end of the pit lane, and here we go.
And I can tell you that the umbrella's being folded, stowed away, and I think may still be a few drops, but anyway, the strong rain has ceased and hopefully it'll stay where it is. Certainly no more visits to the Mugello circuit. Let's go racing again. Well, we are actually.
Yes, the clock has started the moment the safety car left the pit lane. The race duration is on. We're on board with Dylan Medler, who drives for the collection of Ferrari of Miami, accelerating out the pit lane right now. You can see his information screen on the dashboard there, flashing SC, indicating to all the drivers, of course, that we are behind the safety car. It's a long time before all the drivers are out of the pit lane and onto the track. You can see that the Richard Mille safety car is actually heading towards turn 2 right now, and some cars still only now exiting the pit lane. That's how big the grid of cars is for Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am. And now the Richard Mille safety car, as I've mentioned more than once this weekend, and look at the threatening cloud above. I mean, it doesn't look very hopeful. The Richard Mille safety car is being driven this weekend by experienced racing driver Antonio Tamburini. He is one of a number of safety car drivers that share those duties across Ferrari Challenge race weekends, whether here in Europe, whether in North America, the UK, Japan, Australasia. And he, of course, will be constantly relaying information back to race control appertaining to track conditions that he's experiencing.
Indeed, and kind of our competitors here in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli are serving as their own sweeping crew almost, because by running over the track they are dissipating the water. As you can see, the spray being kicked up, and that means the standing water is pushed away, so the drivers effectively help clear the track for themselves. I think that it's at least going to be 2, for safety maybe even 3 laps. That is what Alessandro Tamburini is going to determine or give feedback to race control once he comes past the spot for a second time. How much of a difference has it made? And that's what they will base their call and decisions on.
Yes, and in fairness, Antonio Tamburini has done quite a lot of racing in very challenging weather conditions. I've never asked Antonio quite how old he is, but he's raced in single-seaters in Europe and lots of other categories as well, and he's a super competitive driver, or was in his own right, and right now we're pleased to have him as one of our safety car drivers. You can see there, Nico, that's just indicative of the spray that you're getting through the chicane. Look, and going into the final turn here, there's still a lot of water around there.
Great shot there, well done from our production team to give us that. It was really showed how much water is there, but it also shows when you run 34 of these 296 challenge cars, and these Pirelli P0 rain tires have a rain water displacement that is unbelievable. You can measure it in bathtubs actually. You can see how much water is dissipated and gets off the track, at least a significant portion of it. So that helps, that just helps, that at least it gets predictable. And I think that is the main thing. Visibility is always going to be compromised.
Yes.
But the moment that the drivers have a confidence level in the grip that the track will afford them, that is the key moment also for race control. And that's where our driver advisors who are in race control, who have their own experience, they assist race control in making that call. When is it, acceptable? When is it safe to race on?
Safety car stays out, and I'm not surprised by that. No intimation or inclination at the moment from race control as to when the safety car will come back in. We are at 17.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. The race being led by Vincenzo Scarpetta and Felix Herziger for our Pirelli drivers. For our Pirelli Am drivers is David Gosner ahead of Michael Verhagen. We ride on board with Yasin Ferrati then. He's weaving from side to side, just trying to generate a little bit of temperature into those Pirelli tyres. He has right ahead of him the car of Rafael Duran. It's Thomas Gosner looking on. There's the weather radar. Yes, hello to everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We're doing everything we can. Safety car coming in at the conclusion of this lap, so we are going to go to racing. So, safety car coming in at the conclusion of this lap, which is going to give us about half the race duration, I suppose. I am cautious because I think it'll be difficult for the drivers to keep the car on the track, perhaps in a race environment. Let's see. Let's fingers crossed. Jay Logan from Ferrari of Austin in Texas has brought his car back into the pit lane, I can see from our timing screen. So Jay Logan, presumably out of the race. So second to last sequence of turns with our leading drivers right now, and the safety car will peel off and accelerate away, and it will be the responsibility of Vincenzo Scarpetta to control the pace of this start of this race. And as I mentioned, it's going to be about half of our duration by the time we get to the start-finish line, perhaps a bit less. 15 minutes, maybe 14 and a half minutes plus one lap, assuming that there is no further safety car intervention, which I'm sorry to say I would not bet against.
Well, let's stay with this, and can only hope. And our drivers, they are getting close. Vincenzo Scarpetta, he will control this. Felix Herziger will try to anticipate it.
Yes. And when will Vincenzo Scarpetta decide to go? Well, he's gone. Frankly, long before the final turn, he's decided to give it 100%. And around he goes. Already one or two drivers just out on the paint, and once you're on the paint, then it's going to be very, very slippery. So here we go. Really difficult for any driver to be able to really spot visibility through the spray. Lots and lots of water out there on the track. You'll see drivers come out of the spray and not follow the car directly behind because, or follow the car directly behind because that really compromises their visibility. Roberto Perina goes side by side there. As into the chicane they go. Michael Verhagen, there's David Gostner, Roberto Perina and Michael Verhagen right behind, and trying to buy into that mix is Gilles Remans as well. Remans goes through on Michael Verhagen, and here is David Gostner then, leader of the Pirelli AM category at the moment. Through the next chicane, drivers getting oh so brave in terms of using bits of curb. But it is Vincenzo Scarpetta from Felix Herziger and Gilles Remans. They are the top three in Pirelli, and Remans now needs to narrow the gap to Felix Herziger and try and get on terms. Roberto Perina then, we're a wobble in the Roberto Perina car, but he managed to hold on to it and save it, which was good to see. He has Michael Verhagen, Andrew Morrow all around him. And there is David Gostner, who remains, as Bjorn Grossman trying to find a way past Michael Verhagen at the moment. Bjorn Grossman, driver of the number 26 car, has made up a lot of places right at the start of this race, but he is mired in the mix of, he has Pirelli AM cars ahead of him. And see this little gaggle of cars, and there's Bjorn Grossman right at the back of the pack. Roberto Perina ahead, Michael Verhagen ahead. He's got to try and navigate his way through this as he looks towards the inside line here. Racing room is given, but he doesn't have the momentum to be able to make a move stick. David Gostner exits that turn, then Grossman then puts himself right alongside Michael Verhagen again, side by side. Now he's going to have to be very, very brave here to try and go all the way around the outside. On the paint he goes, almost three abreast right now. The safety car period is under investigation as Roberto Perina is able to put it past David Gostner. That was very brave, and here comes Bjorn Grossman now on Michael Verhagen, discretion the better part of valor. He has to dive out of that move initially. You can see some damage on the front of his car already, perhaps, where contact has been made. So up the inside now, are you going to be able to get the car rotated? This is for the lead in Pirelli AM between Michael Verhagen and David Gostner, and Bjorn Grossman trying to get in as well, and Michael Verhagen has done it. He's put himself ahead of David Gostner, I think, and Roberto Perina running wide, and that plays into the hands potentially of Bjorn Grossman, but not quite. It was a big save from Roberto Perina, but here comes Grossman now on the inside of David Gostner. So we have a change in the lead of the Pirelli AM World Final race. It is Michael Verhagen leading And Vincenzo Scarpetta continues to lead for the Pirelli drivers. We're on board with Yasin Ferrati. Yasin Ferrati running P10 in the race overall at the moment, and that is just indicative of how compromised visibility is.
100%. For the moment, Vincenzo Scarpetta up the road, 2.5 seconds to the good. Obviously, he has the visibility advantage if anybody has it. Felix Hilziger, Gilles Renman, the other two podium places for the moment. Michael Verhagen, David Gostner and Andrew Morrow in the AMs. But, you know, here on the track, it's really a mix of AM and Pirelli drivers. Doesn't matter really what category you are in. Finding track space and visibility is crucial.
Yes, it is. Car number 23 has got a drive-through penalty for overtaking under the safety car. That's David Acabadzi, driver of the all-yellow Ferrari Challenge 296 car, who's a little bit further down the order here. So David Acabadzi is going to have to take that drive-through penalty. As we can see there, some contact on the exit of the second from last turn. And Björn Grossman on a mission here. So there is Björn Grossman ahead of David Gostner now. So now he will target the car of Michael Verhagen. So Vincenzo Scarpetta leading. Felix Herziger incidentally set the fastest lap and has narrowed the margin to 2.3 seconds between P1 and P2. There is Gostner. And again, as we try and see through the murk and the mire, as the cars all head into turn number 1. Who is going to be king of the late breakers here? David Gostner, and I think it's Andrew Morrow that is on the outside of David Gostner. You can see the drive-through penalty board being hung over the starting gantry. So Andrew Morrow, David Gostner running wide, and that surely has done enough for Andrew Morrow to come through, and sure enough he does. So Andrew Morrow moves up to P2 in the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Well done to Andrew Morrow, the Charles Hurst driver ahead of Massimo Perina, who of course is the Trofeo Pirelli champion in North America. So David Gostner, whilst he had the pace initially, seems to have gone away a little bit right now. On board with Dylan Medler.
Yeah, struggling a little bit is David Gostner. Dylan Medler, a great vantage point. It just gives you the sense of visibility, how much track knowledge you have to really know where you are at all times.
I wonder whether David Gostner has got a deflating tyre potentially, because he's struggling to control that car, Nico.
Yes, definitely something that he isn't one with the car, and that causes him to drop down. Dylan Medler, and we are on board with him, looking at Henrik Viol, our AM champion in Europe, but fairly down the order by his standards, P4. In fairness, he's only got one position behind Rafael Duran, so if he can make that one overtake, he would be at least on the podium. But for the moment, Michael Verhagen fairly up the road, even though he has just been overtaken by Björn Grossman. Doesn't make any difference in category, because Grossman, and there we can see these two drivers, Björn Grossman having overtaken Michael Verhagen. But now Björn Grossman has 5 seconds or so to Gilles Renman, who we just saw coming through short. So that would be for the final podium possession. We've got 8 minutes plus a lap remaining. Björn Grossman would love to have that podium position. He's been denied the victory in this race a number of times, and a podium would be a nice consolation prize, if nothing else, for him.
So here is Björn Grossman then being tracked by Michael Verhagen. It's been a season of ups and downs for Michael Verhagen, been in the championship chase for a lot of the season. That was denied him, and there you can see the Andrew Morrow car, the number 4 car, with Massimo Perina ahead, and Massimo Perina, who is running P9 in the race overall. There is Grossman, and in replay then, Danilo Del Favaro. And let's just take a look at this at its conclusion. That was a big overtake moment potentially. Vincenzo Scarpetta, 3.036 seconds to the good with just under 7 minutes remaining. Felix Herziger P2, Gilles Renman P3, and Vincenzo Scarpetta just setting the fastest lap as David Acabadzi takes his drive-through penalty that was awarded earlier on for overtaking under the safety car. So Akabadze has done that and returns out on track, and he'll be down there in sort of P21 in class. I think that will drop him back to. So Scarpetta, Herziger, Renmans, Grossman, the top 4 Pirelli drivers. Now, Michael Verhagen has got the advantage of 4 Pirelli drivers immediately behind him and in front of Andrew Morrow. So for Andrew Morrow to get in terms with Michael Verhagen in 6 minutes, he would have to overtake Massimo Perina, Yasin Ferrati, Luigi Coluccio and Roberto Perina. That might be a bit of a big ask, frankly.
In normal circumstances, and there is
Hanno Laskowski. Hanno Laskowski is beached in the gravel. Sorry to say, Nico, that car is going to need to be recovered. Safety car is called for.
And we hope that we will go back to racing, but it's 5 minutes, it's +1 lap. That might just give us maybe 1 or 2 racing laps at the end, but for the moment, Hanno Laskowski, unfortunately for him, for the second time this week, and I remember, or this week, I seem to recall, in the gravel. And yeah, I mean, fair play to all our drivers. Incredibly difficult conditions, and you said it, you kind of felt it might be inevitable. They held it together for a long time, and just a little bit of a sideways moment, and almost kept it out of the gravel, but then dipped the back wheels, and that was it.
A little bit of a sideways moment in these conditions is always going to be a big bit of a sideways moment. And there's, however good a driver you are, you're never going to be able to control that. So let's take nothing away, as you so rightly say. You know, credit to all of our drivers who, in very, very difficult conditions. I'm sorry to say, Nico, that with 5 minutes +1 lap, I'm not sure we're going to see any more race action. The recovery team have been really, really quick here. Fact. I'm not absolutely sure. We'll see. I've been surprised.
I would at least venture to say that the opinion on that, whether they want that to happen between Felix Herziger and Vincenzo Scarpetta, might go in very different directions. Felix would certainly cherish the chance, after being down 3 seconds, to be gifted another 1 lap dash for a potential win. Vincenzo Scarpetta might think that actually, you know, we're fairly good the way we are right now, but certainly recovery team will be as quick as they can about their work and try to give us some more race action. Gilles Renman in P3 might also think that actually, you know, podium is fairly good for me. Björn Grossman, he didn't gain any ground on Gilles Renman, so also for him, going racing again would be an opportunity. Michael Verhagen, fairly well spaced towards the other AM drivers. Andrew Morrow has only a seat between himself and Raphael Duran, and Henrik Viol and Raphael Duran, P3 and P4 in the AMs. They would be bumper to bumper if we went back to racing. 3.5 minutes remaining.
Let's see, never say never. So 3 minutes and a half, +1 lap. Vincenzo Scarpetta, Felix Herziger, Gilles Renmans. They are the top 3 Pirelli drivers. Top AM drivers, Michael Verhagen, Andrew Morrow, and Raphael Duran. Then it's Henrik Viol. They are the top 3 AM drivers. Raphael Duran has had a super end of the Finali Mondiali event. Michael Verhagen, you can see in the number 33 car there. As I said, he's had a season of highs and lows, and you know, very, very nearly chasing Henrik Viol to the Trofeo Pirelli AM Championship, but he's taken a number of wins, and I had a conversation, very, very brief conversation with Bartosz, who is one of his team members, who said for sure, and also Larry Tenborda, his driving coach, who said for sure Michael's going to come back next season, which is great to hear. Been a fantastic addition to the Ferrari Challenge, that's for sure. Hi everyone.
Yeah.
2 minutes plus a lap.
So it has to be on this lap effectively. There in turn 1 was the Hanno Laskowski car. I believe it was where he was beached. So it has to be recovered by the time they hit the second sector line. If they can do that, then we would get that +1 lap in race in green flag conditions.
We just saw Johnny there, Andrew Morrow's driver coach, Johnny Kane. I owe you an apology for getting his... How can I get Johnny's name wrong? But I did. Safety car's going to come in at the conclusion of this lap, so you were right. We are going to get a lap of racing, if nothing else.
Yeah, I don't think more than that is possible where they are on the track. I mean, the safety car will accelerate at some point, but I think a minute and a half, they will not cross the timing line. I don't think with any time remaining, because that would make it 2 laps. And Vincenzo Scarpetta actually might have a little bit of a strategic hand in that.
He'll hold them up.
If he slows them down enough, and I think he can make sure that it's exactly 1 lap.
Exactly.
But we will go racing again. It's the final race of the Ferrari Challenge season. It's the final lap. It's the final title to be garnered, and we will get some green flag racing.
So where are they on the track? Because you're absolutely right. What Vincenzo Scarpetta needs to do is to make sure that he does not cross that timing line with anything left on the clock. And I think in any event, that's probably where we're going to be, because we're at 40 seconds now. As near as makes no difference. So Vincenzo Scarpetta, surely, although he's trying to stack up the safety car now, you'd be decelerating rather than accelerating, but there we are. Who am I? Not driving the car, just talking about it. 24 seconds. It's
even in race pace, it would be too little, so it is going to be 1 lap to the end, to the flag, to the glory. So, as the clock ticks down, the safety car will peel off into the pit lane. We will be on to the +1 lap. Felix Herziger will still fancy his opportunities, and so too will Gilles Renmans. So let's see how we go. Hold on, this is going to be terribly exciting all the way to the checkered flag. So, through the final chicane, just 1 turn to do before starting the final lap. When is Vincenzo Scarpetta going to go? He's weaving from side to side. It's his responsibility and his decision. Felix Herziger is certainly trying to stay with him and anticipate when he's going to go. Taking a little bit of the painted lines, he's gone now. So Vincenzo Scarpetta goes. Felix Herziger, not too bad. Gilles Renmans going to be under strife from Björn Grossman, I would say, going into turn number 1, as Grossman is already on him. So Gilles Renmans, Björn Grossman, the fight for P3 is on. And Björn Grossman to the outside of Gilles Renmans. Vincenzo Scarpetta tries to get the car rotated, so too Felix Herziger runs very, very wide. Björn Grossman tries to get underneath the car of Gilles Renmans. I think he's done it, or has he? No. Gilles Renmans able to accelerate out, and that means Björn Grossman finds himself in the gravel trap. He's an experienced racer. He will try and keep his foot to the floor and stay in there. Vincenzo Scarpetta under real pressure from Felix Herziger, and Herziger himself is going to be under pressure now. Gilles Renmans takes a real wide line, and now Renmans is behind Herziger. Herziger has gone around. Scarpetta continues. Herziger has made contact with the barriers. That's his aspirations for the world final race gone for a Burton. It is Vincenzo Scarpetta from Gilles Renmans, Michael Verhagen, Luigi Coluccio looks like he might be on the final podium place, as Felix Herziger is trying to get the car back. He has got the car back onto the tarmac, but there's some damage to it. He's going to have to retire the car. Scarpetta from Renmans, from Luigi Coluccio. How close is Roberto Perina to Coluccio? Yeah. And this in replay is what happened. So there you could see diving, and there was contact between the two of them, and that was a racing incident inevitably. So Vincenzo Scarpetta then is miles ahead of Gilles Renmans and Luigi Coluccio, and in fairness, Perina has got Verhagen between himself. So it's Perina, then Yasin Ferrati. Sorry, I'm looking at the classes, and now you can see Felix Herziger having a walk away. His season is done and dusted. Vincenzo Scarpetta, Gilles Renmans, Luigi Coluccio, the top 3 for the AM drivers, Verhagen, Morrow, and Hendrik Viol. As Vincenzo Scarpetta heads towards the checkered flag, then he takes the Finali Mondiali race for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. Gilles Renmans takes P2. Luigi Coluccio takes P3. For our AM drivers, it's Michael Verhagen, and he finishes ahead of Andrew Morrow, and Marco Zanassi at the end of the lap overtakes Hendrik Viol to take P3.
podium for Marco Zanazzi in the world final race.
Everything happening here on the final lap. Renman against Grossman, Scarpetta against Hirziger. There was also Henrik Viol, Andrew Moore. Rafael Duran was in P3 at the beginning of this lap, or actually through Sector 1, and was right behind Andrew Moore, and then he dropped 10 positions or so in class, so lots of things happening. I wouldn't be surprised if race control said, well, hold on, we have to have a look at a few things before we make this race result official, because everything happening at the end, I think no question about who won the race outright. As you say, I think there was a touch, but they were running alongside. There was nothing that would make me pause anyway. Vincenzo Scarpetta wins, Gilles Renman takes P2, Luigi Colucci P3, Michael Verhagen. And there is another, yeah, that is both coming. And the cars are so light at that moment. They're rotating and a little bit of an extra stimulus input. And the Reparto Corsa Ram team, uber successful this season, weren't able to crown it in the final race. And you can see how much of a shared experience that is, whether it's the highs or the lows.
Confirmation of the result then, Vincenzo Scarpetta taking the win from Gilles Renman's Luigi Colucci. As Michael Verhagen is world champion in Ferrari Challenge for the Trofeo Pirelli Am. Drivers ahead of Andrew Morrow and Marco Zanazzi. Well, that was dramatic, that's for sure. That is for sure, but well, credit to all of the drivers for being able to deliver what they delivered in really, really difficult conditions, and having been kept waiting for a jolly long time before they could go racing. There is Vincenzo being congratulated. World final race winner. Gilles Renman's taking P2. He's done a fantastic job this season as well. And Luigi Colucci taking P3. For the AM drivers, it's going to be Michael Verhagen, Andrew Morrow, and Marco Zanazzi.
That was quite some race. We had to wait a long time to get the drama, but then the drama came in droves.
Indeed it did. So there, congratulations continuing down there. So 2 podiums to come, of course, one for Trofeo Pirelli, one for Pirelli Am. Carlo never misses a photo opportunity, you know. He's always in there celebrating whenever the need arises, which is actually quite often. There's Andrew Morrow. And Johnny alongside him, his driver coach. Well done, Andrew. What a stunning weekend you have had. There's his father, Philip. Quite a lovely conversation with them last night. Often have lovely conversations with them. They're truly lovely people. Right, they'll be heading up to the podium shortly. And then it's Ferrari showtime.
And remarkable, the Ferrari World Finals just show how different they are from the season. None of our champions in the regions took any of the titles. In all 4 categories, we had someone who didn't win the championship in North America or Europe.
Okay, here is Vincenzo Scarpetta then, the Redici Automobili driver who, I have to say, right at the end of the race, really had to hold on for good measure, didn't he? He came under intense pressure from Felix Hirziger, but in the end, he was able to hold on to it, and rightly so. Many congratulations to Vincenzo Scarpetta. Many would argue he did the hard work in qualifying, but I'm not sure I would agree with that on this occasion. I think his work was even harder come the end of that race. So let's hear from him now. He's down there with Ludovica, and she will find out exactly how he feels about taking the World Championship race.
Vincenzo, super congratulations. After a very good qualifying session, you win, and you are a champion here at home at the Mugello Circuit. A fantastic day for you. So I want to discover more about this race and this important result.
For first, it's not my home, because my home is Napoli. And it was a very difficult race for the track condition, the weather condition. It's very wet, but I do max my power, and I fight for from the first and last lap. Good, troppo bello, grandissimo.
Thank you.
Also going to be hearing from Michael Verhagen. This will always be good. Big character, big driver, great driver. Driving for Ferrari Warsaw, Michael Verhagen then, driver of the number 33 car. Did a fantastic job. As I say, he's had a season of highs and lows, and he's very much going to be a championship contender next season. Of that, have no doubt. Let's hear from him now with Ludovica.
Wow, Michael, congratulations. What a perfect day for you. You are a champion here in Mugello Circuit. How do you feel?
I think I can feel better. It's amazing to win here. At the beginning of the weekend, we had quite bad luck with red flags. Quite a space, but every session we had to start from the back. I think this is we were really fast. The team had a really great car. So also efforts to the team, and yeah, I'm really happy.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well done, Michael. The highlights of our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am World final race then, and the weather was really going to impact things as the cars were led away by the safety car initially. All the cars got going, however you could see the threatening dark cloud overhead, and the weather conditions really were torrid. Visibility was very difficult and the session ended up being suspended. It's probably exactly the right decision by the race control, and Vincenzo Scarpetta likening the conditions more to sailing really. You kind of needed a boat, but when we did get to racing, all credit to the drivers for being able to keep the cars on the tarmac. Good battle going on between Michael Verhagen and Roberto Perina initially. Now, they are in different classes, but Michael Verhagen wanted to be on terms with David Gosner, of course, who was leading at that point in the Trofeo Pirelli Am. Yasser Ferrati making good progress, and he coming up against Luigi Coluccio. There were, unfortunately, one or two little bits of contact, which meant that David Gosner's chance for the Finali Mondiali race went awry. Danilo Del Favro going through on the inside, or did he actually against one of our North America competitors? Well, he did it in the end. It was very difficult to find the grip that you needed, and here you can see very sideways for Hanno Laskowski, and not for the first time this weekend. He found himself in the gravel trap, and this was Felix Herziger chasing down on the final lap the opportunity to become the world champion as well as Trofeo Pirelli champion for the year. But the world final race would go to Vincenzo Scarpetta for the Pirelli drivers, and for the Pirelli Am drivers it would be Michael Verhagen who would be victorious. Well done to all the drivers once again. Credit to them for doing what they did in very difficult conditions. Here are the race statistics then. Total laps 13. We're going to be heading up to the podium next for the Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am podiums. Independent podiums, of course, but celebrating the world final races for both of our categories of Pirelli and Pirelli Am. The drivers we will see: Vincenzo Scarpetta, Gilles Remans, Luigi Coluccio, Michael Verhagen, Andrew Morrow, and Marco Zanesi.
Pirelli, chiamiamo I vincitori, I campioni 2025. Terzo classificato Luigi Coluccio.
Luigi Coluccio then taking P3 for the Rosso Corsa team.
Del podio per Gilles Remans.
Gilles Remans takes P2.
E attenzione, il campione del mondo Ferrari Challenge 2025.
And world champion is Vincenzo Scarpetta.
Inno nazionale italiano.
Here comes the anthem.
nostro applauso anche dalla tribuna centrale per i campioni del mondo 2025, il trofeo d'onore. Il terzo posto è presentato da Antonello Coletta, Global Head of Ferrari Endurance and Corse Clienti. Antonello Coletta
then making the trophy presentation. As Michele has said, he is the global head of endurance and Corse Clienti. Ferrari's chief marketing officer and commercial officer Enrico Galliera making the trophy presentation to Gilles Renmans, and the CEO of Ferrari makes the trophy presentation to our champion Vincenzo Scarpetta.
Pirelli che viene presentato da Lucio Vergani, Pirelli Activities Coordinator, Ferrari Program. Lucio Vergani
then Pirelli Activities Coordinator for the Ferrari program, makes the Pirelli trophy presentation.
I piloti che invito sull'unico gradino centrale, foto.
Everyone together for the photos.
Dal Mugello, ragazzi, alzate i trofei, lift your trophy. Ok, siamo qua. Grande festa, Pirelli.
Great picture. And they're great trophies for Finali Mondiali.
Ragazzi, ancora un attimo calmi, invitiamo gli ospiti a uscire dal podio.
Who is going to win the champagne race? It'll be Renmans, in my opinion. He's always been lively when it comes to the champagne. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I think I am. I think, actually, it was Luigi Coluccio. Taking P2, Gilles Renmans. Taking P1, Vincenzo Scarpetta. Up next, we'll be seeing the Trofeo Pirelli Am Podium, saluting those that did so well in that Pirelli Am race, and well done to them. The top three, we'll see Marco Zanassi, Andrew Morrow, and
e siamo
of course,
pronti
the
per il secondo
Michael
podio,
Verhagen.
altro podio mondiale, Pirelli classe Am. Chiamiamo i vincitori, terzo classificato Marco Zanassi.
Here's Marco Zanassi then to take P3.
Secondo posto sul podio per Andrew Morrow.
Andrew Morrow then, what a stellar weekend he has had.
Del mondo 2025 classe Pirelli Am, Michael Verhagen.
And Michael Verhagen on the top step of the podium in the world final race. Here comes the national anthem.
Il nostro grande applauso per i vincitori e
Grand
salutiamo
applause,
anche
please,
i piloti
for our
ufficiali
Trofeo Pirelli
Ferrari. James
stars.
Calado,
Here comes
Ferrari
James
Factory
Calado,
Driver, per
Ferrari
il
Factory
terzo
Driver, to make
classificato,
the
James Calado,
presentation
per
to Marco Zanassi.
Zanassi.
Well done, Marco.
Abbiamo Alessandro Ale Pierguidi, Ferrari
Alessandro
Factory Driver,
Pierguidi then
consegna il
will make
trofeo
the
d'onore a
presentation to Andrew Morrow.
Ale Pierguidi. E
And
Antonio Giovinazzi.
Antonio Giovinazzi
Ferrari
here.
Factory Driver, prego Antonio Giovinazzi per il
For the
vincitore
Ferrari Factory Driver to make the
Michael
trophy presentation
Verhagen.
to Michael Verhagen. Well done, Michael.
Chiamiamo anche Lucio Vergani, Pirelli
Of course,
Activities
Pirelli trophy come
Coordinator
from
Program,
Lucio
che consegna
Vergani
il trofeo Pirelli,
Pirelli.
meritatissimo trofeo Pirelli per Michael Verhagen. E a questo punto richiamiamo i piloti sul podio. Ale
Lucio is
Pierguidi,
Pirelli
James
Activities
Calado,
Coordinator Ferrari Challenge, and all the drivers
Antonio Giovinazzi sul podio.
join in the photograph here as
Ok
well.
ragazzi, foto e immagini dal Mugello, and now driver, lift your trophy, up your trophy. Ok.
All the photographs are taken.
Bellissimo podio
Who's
Pirelli
going
M,
to
ancora
win the
aspettiamo
champagne
qualche
race? Come on,
secondo.
Andrew.
Liberiamo il podio, ok? And now 3, 2, 1, champagne!
Oh, I think it was Andrew Morrow
Yeah.
by a whisker. So the car that took P3, Marco Zanassi. Marco's had a good season. Certainly in contention for the championship. Andrew Morrow, what a driver when you consider just 4 or 5 years ago he hadn't even stepped in a racing car. And then Michael Verhagen, another great showing from Michael Verhagen, who's really entertained us this season from Ferrari Warsaw. So looking forward to him being back on the grid next season. Welcome to Mugello. What an extraordinary track this is. With the cloud cover in Tuscany, we've had lots of rain at the moment.
Semafori accesi.
As Felix Herziger becomes Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli champion for 2025.